We have Anthony Martinez with us right off the bat. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me back.
I am so happy that you are keeping a watchful eye. I forgot to say we're on watch here.
Yes, of course, always.
A watchful eye in Turlock, but you also look at national politics as well.
Yes, and it's been a busy time, of course.
Yes, it has. What do you think about the vice presidential pick for Mitt Romney?
It was a very interesting one. A lot of insiders expected Rob Portman, senator from Indiana, to be chosen. He's a bit more of a Washington insider. A lot of people felt he could have shepherded Romney, if elected, shepherded him easily through the perils of actually governing the United States of America. He's very wise in his...
Do you think Mitt Romney needs shepherding?
I think anybody that is not of Washington needs someone from Washington to guide them, of both parties. Yeah, just in general, I think it helps. It cuts down on the learning curve. However, that is not the pick. Paul Ryan's the pick, and it's a very interesting one. It was said that Paul Ryan was simultaneously the favorite pick of the Republicans and the favorite pick of the Democrats.
Really?
Well, yes, just because he's not a decidedly divisive figure in American politics, but he definitely highlights a lot of what the party would like to be talking about. And so a lot of people feel it encourages the honest debate, that his big thing is the Ryan budget. So, the Medicare restructuring and Social Security reform and basically just adjusting spending and controlling it in Washington, which is something obviously the Republicans have gone after every election cycle. It's something they've adopted as a strong part of their party platform.
Do you think that he is more or less conservative than Mitt Romney?
That's an interesting question. I think they're about even. And I think you can really tell that they like each other's company, which is a great attribute in a ticket. They really enjoy each other's political theories. They look like they get along well, of course, too. Paul Ryan's actually the same age as Romney's eldest son. So they have that.
And how old is that?
It escapes me at this very moment, but I remember reading an article that had pointed that out, that they have a very good elder-senior junior dynamic.
Well, that brings up an interesting question, and that is, what do you think about younger people in politics? I mean, younger can be 40 years old, really.
Yes, I mean, that's...
So what do you think about younger people taking office versus somebody who's a little bit more mature?
Well, of course. I think it's a great thing if the opportunity presents it to you. If you are impassioned about running, if you find you have an issue, or you're well versed in governance or decision making for the country as a whole, I think it's a great thing. As far as youth running for the sake of youth, I don't really feel either way about, as I guess the same as I don't feel like experience running for the sake of experience would be anything beneficial. It seems like the youth adds obviously a lot of vitality to both parties, and I think that's a great thing in general, and it gets people talking about politics and more passionate about it. Especially
maybe a different
yes,
demographics.
And especially I'm 23, so seeing people, not necessarily my age, but my parents' age as opposed to my grandparents' age, talking about politics makes it more engaging and more interesting.
Yeah, it would appeal to a completely different generation, I would think.
Right, exactly.
Do you think that even 10 years difference in a generation, as far as like 30 to 40 and 40 to 50, have different viewpoints of where they want the country to go?
Oh, they're huge. They are massive. Let's take it from the top. You have, we'll start at about the 60-year-old block from 60 to 70. Obviously, the entitlements are big on their mind. Just closely watching any kind of reform, I wouldn't want to paint them with a broad brush stroke that they are against any kind of reform, but they are definitely watchful of, because it is the most direct impact possible on them. The 50-year-old age block is where it gets very interesting. You usually have adult children, so you are worrying about them making their way in the world, and you're also looking at retirement yourself. So you're kind of at the crossroads of everything, really. You've kind of got an eye on everything. You're still in your career, so you still have to look
out. Kind of like
out.
being a teenager all over.
Exactly. You have most likely adult children to look after. You have your own career to manage, and you're looking at the way retirement is going to be for you when you finally get there. 40 seems to be the 40s block, and the 30s. I'll kind of throw them in together. They're the people in their working prime. They are most concerned about number one, not in a mean-spirited way, but they're very concerned about, for example, in this election, the economy, the unemployment rate, just wealth production of our middle class, as far as having the most people in the middle class, and trying not to have people drop out of it. They're just really driven by the economy, current fiscal situations, more so than I think social issues, foreign policy. Those are very much back burner issues to this group because of the fact that they're in the prime of everything. And then I think youth is when you get to spend your time on social issues. I think your 18 to your 29s are very much being socially forward a lot of the time. Not to paint all youth with a very broad brushstroke again, but looking forward socially, and just really being more idealistic.
Do they have more of their eye on education and?
Yes, okay. Education, betterments of communities, betterments of the citizenry as a whole. It's a time, I think, when you get to be the most idealistic, and politics loves it.
There was something else that you wanted to talk about too, about
the conventions.
Conventions, yes.
I just wanted to let
I've never been to a political convention. I've been to a banjo convention, but never a political convention.
Unfortunately, I also have not had the opportunity to attend.
I wonder if they're very much alike. A lot of music, a lot of happy times, a lot of really interesting people.
I think all of those apply, except there's also an incredible amount of money just kind of lying around for both of the parties.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be like at the banjo conventions. Yeah, other than the banjos themselves.
Yes. Well, no, because essentially what both of the parties are doing is they are nominating their picks for president. Romney obviously is the more important one because he actually had competitors this election cycle. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if all of those gentlemen will be there, but per what you do at conventions is a lot of them will yield the floor. Say I hereby give my delegates in this nominating process to Mitt Romney.
Really?
So
it's like a chess game almost.
Well, no. I mean, not. They hope not. The Republican Party would shudder if it actually became a what's called a contested convention. Something Newt Gingrich was going for when he was high atop the polls was that if we can just kind of muddy everything up, it'll have to all be decided at the convention, and that's when yes, delegates are free to change their vote after the first two rounds of balloting, and it would have just been a mess, and it would have very much. We in America, our political system is. I don't want to say outdated, but we are on the expectation that the guy that we elect in the primaries is the guy that's going to go. And technically, that's not true at all. Is that if somebody were to create a forceful enough presence at the convention and the results were to be so up in the air, you could easily have anybody being elected the Republican nominee. And that has happened in the past. I don't think it's happened anytime since maybe the 30s. But historically, it has happened, and I think they were more okay with it back then.
You were talking about money being thrown around. How much money are you talking? A couple $1,000s or hundreds of thousands?
It's in the millions.
Really?
Yes, it is in the millions. Because it's the nexus of the politicians themselves all gearing up for the home stretch. Once the nominating convention, it's a sprint to the election for all the seats, the down ballot races. Obviously presidents at the top, but senators, representatives, anybody with any kind of national persona, and or if you're in your state. And what they will do every night, they'll spend all day caucusing or something akin to that. And in the evenings, they will have parties. And I do mean parties. They're literally just, wine, soda, maybe a bit of hard liquor if one was to enjoy themselves. But the important part of these are they are lobbying. They're seeking money out from donors. Mm-hmm. It's the nexus of people with a stake in the game and the people who will end up making the decisions if they should win the election. So I've always heard they're amazingly fun to attend and to see.
You'll have to put it on your bucket list.
Yes, of course.
Well, you're young enough. You don't need a bucket yet. Where can we find you on the internet or on Facebook to talk to you about some of these issues? Yeah,
I'm Anthony Martinez on Facebook. On the Turlock sphere. Otherwise, I found the best is if they just actually get a hold of you. You can forward me anything, and I'll gladly love to have the conversation. If it's over a pint of beer, all the better. But
Well,
definitely love talking politics with
we'll have
whoever.
to have our own convention here in Modesto.
Exactly.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty.